Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the country's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And we've got one for you today. Giovanna Fletcher has become, well, a legend in the parenting advice game and a YouTube star. She knows everything about everything to do with being a woman and a mother and a daughter and all that business. And it's become her business. And I'm delighted to say she joins us on the phone today. Giovanna, how are you?
What a lovely introduction. I don't think I'm an expert in anything, but thank you, I'm good.
Well, it's funny, none of us are, but it's amazing how you can find a niche and people will listen to you. And the internet has given people like you and me a voice, hasn't it?
And I think people like other people holding their hands up and going, I really don't know what I'm doing, but let's muddle our way through and find a way together.
What's the key to your success? I mean, I just watched the Catherine Jenkins interview that you did. And again, it's just a chat, isn't it? It's not an interview.
No, exactly. So I probably overshare, probably say too much in my interviews. Probably people are like, shut up, I want to hear from the guest. Yeah, it's a nice chat. And, I never want the person to feel like I'm just hammering them with questions rather than, it's that thing of, the podcast for me is a way to take the judgment out of parenting and to just have honest conversations and see what works for other people and for everyone to realise that it doesn't matter who you are, what you have, what you do, where you live, there's always something that you can relate to another person with when it comes to parenting. Do you know what? I think you can relate to anyone in any part of life, but especially parenting, because we're all, the majority of us are facing the same things, whether it's a sleepless night, a child that won't put a shoe on, picky eaters. I think there's always something that you can kind of just catch the eye of another tired parent and go, I know.
It's amazing, isn't it, how people want to talk. And I want to talk to you about being a parent and ask an honest question. Is it harder than you thought? Because I'm an incredibly selfish and narcissistic person and I don't want to get up early in the morning. It's a tough gig, isn't it, being a mum?
It's really hard, and I think before having kids, I would play with other people's, like my friends' children, and it would be amazing. And then, you have that normal thing where people would say, oh, you'd be an amazing mum, so you get this image in your head of what it's going to be like. Those mornings under nice, white, crisp linen where we're all snuggling in. And actually, it's not like that. As soon as my kids wake up, they want to go downstairs. The crisp linen is just cotton and it's
soiled.
Loads of stains from various kids that have come in during the night. They don't want to go under it. They just want to get on with their day. And it's chaotic. And I think it's full of many more emotions than I thought. I'm not like Maria from The Sound of Music or the Oxo Mum, and that's all right. And I think it's kind of you have an ideal and expectations, and I don't think you'll never be able to match it. But in the same way, I don't think you can prepare yourself for the amount of love that you feel either.
And the pressure of being the perfect mum seems to be the thing I talk about more these days. It's like looking like the perfect man and having the perfect relationship. There's this sort of reality TV expectation that just isn't attainable, right?
No, and I found that when I first had Buzz, I was looking at everyone else on the internet and kind of going, how are they getting it so right and I'm getting it so wrong, and I feel like I'm failing all the time. I feel like I'm under so much pressure. And actually, as soon as I started voicing those feelings and voicing that I was getting it wrong, suddenly you realise that the majority of people are in the same boat. And it eases off. They're just not talking about the fact that they're winging it. They're telling you how, things are going right. But you can guarantee that, someone spent an hour last night in the cupboard crying, or at some point they've had to remove themselves and have a little word with themselves. And I think the more you talk about it, though, the better, because I think there is that pressure of being the perfect mum and then feeling like you're not doing enough, you aren't enough, and actually you are enough. You're exactly what your child needs. And recently there's been a huge amount of talk on maternal mental health, and I know that dads feel the same as well, because firstly there's so much pressure put on that bond that you should feel for your child instantly, and the more we talk about the fact that those sorts of things are wonderful if they happen, but it's natural if they don't, better, because I know that the leading cause of death in new mums is suicide, and I just think if we all just talk, then that doesn't have to be the case. If we share our feelings and then don't feel ashamed of certain thoughts and feelings that might be there, we can all help each other.
Well, I'm just curious. I just turned 40 last week. You're 34, and I guess we'd be viewed as millennials in that crossover. And I wonder whether this is our fault or whether mothers felt it before. I don't think my mother was that into herself. My mother's mother wasn't into herself. Is this a millennial thing where we just are piling this unnecessary pressure on ourselves for literally no reason?
I think there is a lot of pressure, but I think also the way that we live is very different. I know that, say, my nan would have had her mother down the road. Everyone lived closer. My mum didn't go to work. She didn't have a full-time job when we were younger. I think the pressures are very different, and they've changed a lot for this generation. And I think that has to be taken into account. So you don't have that sort of village support that you would have had before. So I do think there's the weight is different, and it's very difficult because me and my mum kind of talk about the generational difference, and you can't say which was harder. When people say, well, back in my day I just got on with it, I've seen that comment online under posts before, and you kind of go, well, you can't really compare unless you walk in someone's shoes. And also, is it really? It's detrimental to kind of say to someone, why are you finding it difficult? You shouldn't. It's easy. You can't take away the way that someone is feeling. If they're feeling a certain way, they're feeling it, and they should be able to vocalise it and seek the support that that's there without feeling shame.
My next question is the shocker. It's the one you're going to cut me off, so we'll do the plug first because I don't want to offend you this early on in the interview. Danone have done some new research about labelling, and we are fatigued by this only because it's so damn confusing. I mean, 1 minute we're told that sugar's going to kill us and make us fat, and then we're told we don't need to do 10,000 steps, and then we pick up a pork pie and it says it's healthy for us, and then we look at yogurt and we don't know whether it's... I mean, there's a lot going on when we walk in a supermarket, isn't there?
There is, and I always think that when you you look at the labels on different products, the amount of ingredients that are in there is sometimes just astonishing, and you don't know where any of them are. You can't even say them, and it looks more like a science experiment sometimes. And what Danone have done with their research as well, they discovered that a lot of people just want things made simpler. They want to be able to pick up things and recognise the ingredients that are on the back. They want to know that they are picking up something that's good for them. And that is what they've managed to achieve with Danone with their range. It's just really interesting. I think if people are just tired of not being able to understand what they're consuming or what they're giving to their kids.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, they brought in that traffic light system that was meant to help, and I think it's made it even more confusing because we pick up things and they're all red and we think, oh, screw it, I'll eat it anyway. What's the solution then?
You've got avocado or nuts that are going to be red because of the fat content. It has to kind of break it down. If anything, it should be that, there's those diets where it's like red, don't eat this, or it's just this is a treat once a year. Or the amber, then it's like have moderately, as and when, and then the green, have as much of it as you like. I think maybe that sort of traffic system is, they can't just do a blanket thing for everything. An avocado is good for you. There's no question. It's bonkers.
Let's go back to you and being a mother. This is the question. You're going to cut me off. What's tougher, being a mother or being the wife of a rock star?
Being a mum. I think people have a sort of a very skewed idea of what being a wife of a rock star is. My husband has never really been a rocker. He's very tame. He likes his home comforts. He likes being home. And when he's off on tour, the boys might play Xbox or anything, stuff like that. And but they tend to just chill out together and write music. It's all about the music. So, yeah, I kind of I would say being a mum is much tougher. Because you kind of rationalise my husband, that's fine, but with kids you can't.
Yeah, they're more relentless, aren't they? I have to say the boys were always very kind to me. We started on the radio about the same time together and we did endless interviews, and they always were sort of the kind pop stars in a way. They never played that game.
They've always loved doing what they do, and I think, for them, their friendship and the music is always the thing that comes first, and they never got lost in kind of going out and being part of any sort of scene. In that way, they kind of had each other, and that was what was important.
And what about the arsehole pill? I've had to take it a couple of times when you think you're more important than you are. Is there ever a point where you have to say to him, hey, listen, love, go and empty the dishwasher because you might well be a rock star, but you're back home now?
No, funnily enough, not. And it was really interesting. So So he played the O2 in November, so Mcfly had their first big gig. And the next morning, it was, we are back to normal. We're back up at 5:30 because there's a baby crying. The cat was sick downstairs. And you've kind of got, look, we're all busy and you've all got to chip in, and this is our life now. So it's got to be a really weird, in your brain kind of going, wow, I was on stage in front of 20,000 people last night. They were all cheering at me and they were loving everything I do. And now I'm in front of a tantruming 3-year-old who does not care and will not do anything that I ask. I think it's good. It keeps you grounded.
Yeah, he's just dad, nothing more than that.
No, exactly.
And what about dealing with the jealousy? I've spoken to the wives and the husbands of stars before, and I wonder what you see when you look at him on stage, because A, it's magnificent, but B, you sort of lose a bit of them as it's given over to the audience, but I guess you know that he's coming home to you tonight. Is that how you deal with it?
I don't know. I don't get jealous when he's on stage. I'm just like, this is amazing. I mean, I've not got girls grabbing at his bits or anything. I think if that would be a bit of a different story.
You wouldn't like him in Magic Mike Live then, I suppose.
No. Luckily for me, I don't think Tom's going to be auditioning for that anytime soon.
You never know.
Yeah, I look at him in absolute awe, and I just think now going to gigs and having our kids with us as well, and seeing their faces as he's on stage, I think it's absolutely amazing, and the talent that he has is incredible. He comes home to us, and that is what it is. I don't think I've ever felt jealous, really. I mean, I used to act, and Tom's seen me do some quite racy things on stage, and so it goes both ways, to be honest.
It was interesting because you started at the Sylvia Young, which it seems like every star started at. It was a brilliant place to learn. It's a great starting point if you want to be in showbiz, isn't it?
Yeah, and I started when there were still only 140 people in the whole school.
Oh, wow.
So it's very, very small. So you'd literally know everyone that was there. So 2 years above us, we had Matt Willis, who was in Busted, and Amy Winehouse, Billy Piper, and obviously me and Tom in our year. And there's loads of actors, actually, that have come through and done stuff at the National and things like that. It's an amazing school, and I love Sylvia so much. She is a woman. She knew exactly what every single child was doing in that school, and she's still like it now. She can tell you who's doing what, when they've got exams, when they can't do certain work. She's just got such passion, and the way that she puts the lives of the children first and really supports and champions them is incredible.
I wonder whether she's given the kudos that she deserves. I mean, really, this woman should be a dame, right?
I'm ready to start that campaign.
Truly, though, if you think of the people that have come through her school, it is extraordinary.
It is, and it's interesting. I can remember, slight tangent here, but I can remember one day we were being told off in assembly, probably for something really banal, so that in any other school it would not be a thing, but they were really quite firm with us at times. And the headmaster said, I want everyone here to put your hand up if Sylvia is helping you pay for your fees. So that you'd have a set fee, and and the majority of people had to put their hand up, because it was one of those ones, tell us, because you've got to, there are so many kids who would love to be in this position, but you're here and Sylvia is helping you. So, and it was astonishing to see how much she put the talent of the kids before her own financial gain. And I know that she gave so much support to Amy Winehouse. And I think a lot of people wouldn't be doing the careers that they are now if it wasn't for her. So I'm all for her becoming a dame.
I absolutely agree. What a legend. As for you and your life, I mean, whether you're sat next to Mario or Carrie or your husband, does it ever become normal, that sort of showbiz world you live in? Because I know these are just husbands and friends and brothers, but to us, these are stars. It is a bizarre life, isn't it?
It is. And I think I only realise that sometimes when Buzz will say, oh, can we watch so-and-so on the telly? And you're like, oh, so-and-so is not on the telly. And they're like, but why? Why can't I watch them on the telly? And so I guess that's weird. But, it is just a part of our lives. It isn't the whole of who we are. And it is that weird thing that to other people it might not be normal, but, it's become our normal.
And in our remaining moments, your dream guest still to get on the show, who would you love to talk to?
I would say Kate Middleton.
Have you put the request in?
Who knows? I mean, I'm continuously putting a request in, so who knows?
Yeah, good luck with that. And I think you're going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. You've got that common touch that people just love. You're instantly relatable, and we wish you all congratulations with your life, with your motherhood, with being a wife, and your website. You can find her on YouTube. It's Giovanna Fletcher, and you can find out more about Danone. They're helping you get through the fatigue of labelling on food and making it simpler with their products. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a joy talking to you.
Thank you so much. That was lovely. Thank you.